Wallahi, you guys, it took me 2 hours. I'm not even joking, 2 hours just to do this. Just so symmetrical. Can you believe that? Wallahi, because it's usually I that does this, so like, but she's not here, so I had to like do it myself. Wallahi, me by myself for 2 hours stressing in the corner. I had like 2 mental breakdowns over these dumb lights. And I also stole her setup too, and I don't even care. I had to do what I had to do. I'm sorry, Aya. If you're watching this, I tried to do my own thing, but it just didn't work out. So I'm plagiarizing you. Sorry, it's actually I blame you because you're not here. So, oh, do you guys like my Kanye sweater? By the way, it's lit, right? Anyways, I'm getting so distracted. Okay, I want to rant. Can I do that? I want to rant. I want to rant about this sounds so nerdy, but I want to rant about a book. Okay, I want to rant about a book that I read because it just changed my perspective. It changed my perspective on not only this whole blog thing that me and I are doing, but also like just the internet in general, like the internet as a source of entertainment and like the internet as a culture, because it is a culture, right? Like the book that I took out is it's called well, it looks like I'm about to make a review, but it's just a book. Anyways, the book that I took out is called Fahrenheit 451, and the reason why I took it out is just because like it's considered like a classic. Like I'm pretty sure you guys heard of it too, and I always wanted to read it. Like I was just interested what it was about. And it's actually a really good book, and it's such a great book. Like not just in the story and the way that it's written, but also like the message behind it. I thought it was really cool, and it changed my perspective. I think I said that like a million times. It just changed my perspective. And this book is set in like this distant future, and it's like this weird government controlled future where it's like it's a dystopia, meaning it's like this imperfect world, kind of like the Hunger Games, but it's different in the sense that like the people in the book, like they're actually happy, even though that they're being controlled, and you know they're not allowed to read books and all the, and they're like having a good time, meaning like they're just so preoccupied with their entertainment that I guess they don't even realize that they're being controlled. And this whole book is you're following this guy who's like a firefighter, and the weird thing about this book is that firefighters, they don't actually put out fires, they make fires, and what they burn is they burn books. So if they catch anybody reading, like they'll go to their house and they'll burn the book down. And so that's what he does. And like as the story goes on, he basically starts to question like why he's even burning books in the first place. And one day like something happens at work where he basically starts to feel a type of way about burning books. Like he doesn't want to burn them no more, so like he just doesn't go to work after that. And because he's not showing up to work, like his boss comes to his house like to tell him like, you know, hey, like, you know, you have to go back to work. And I guess he starts to sense like how emotional he's getting about like these book stuff, so he kind of like sits him down and he starts to explain to him like why they're even burning books in the first place. And in the process of him explaining why they even burn books in the first place, he starts to explain like how they got to this world. So basically like how they got to the world that we live in to the world that they live in the book. And the author said something I think so interesting, and I feel like it said so much about like the world that we're living in today and the internet, I guess. And can I read it to you guys? I know this is not English class. It's actually so embarrassing. I feel like people are gonna make fun of me. Like this girl's reading books on her blog. I'm just gonna read a passage of it because I feel like I can't express it this well. Like there's nothing that I can say that can be this good. Like okay, so basically this is the part of the book where the firefighter, he's sitting down with his boss, right? And his boss is explaining to him why firefighters started to burn books in the first place. Like, so how they got to our world where like everybody reads books to this world where nobody's allowed to read books and they burn it. So this is what he says. Picture it, 19th century man with his horses, dogs, carts, slow motion. Then in the 20th century, speed up your camera. Books cut shorter, condensations, digest tabloids, everything boils down to the gag, the snap ending. Classics cut to fit 15-minute radio shows, then cut again to fill a 2-minute book column, winding up at last as a 10 or 12 dictionary resume. Hamlet was a one-page digest in a book that claimed, now at last, you can read all the classics and keep up with your neighbors. Speed up the film, Montag, quick. Click, pick, look, I, now, flick, here, there, swift, pace, up, down, in, out, why, how, who, what, where, bang, smack, walla, bing, bong, boom. This sounds like Dr. Seuss. Digest, 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 digest. Politics, one column, two sentences, a headline. Then in midair, it all vanishes. Whirl a man's mind around so fast under the pumping hands of publishers, exploiters, broadcasters, that the centrifuge flings off all necessary and time-wasting thought. School is shortened, disciplines relaxed, philosophies, histories, languages are dropped, English and spelling gradually and gradually neglected, and finally almost completely ignored. Life is immediate. The job counts, pleasures lie all after work. Why learn anything save pressing buttons, pulling switches, fixing nuts and bolts? The zipper displaces a button, and a man lacks just that much time to think while dressing at dawn, a philosophical hour. Then he asks him, like, oh, like, do you like baseball? Like, do you like hockey and all the sports? And Montag goes like, Montag, or the firefighter, goes like, yeah, like, they're all great sports. And he says, well, more sports for everyone, group spirit, fun. You don't have to think, eh? Organize and super organized, super sports. More cartoons and books, more pictures. The mind drinks less and less. Impatience. Highways full of crowds of going somewhere, nowhere. Now, let's take up the minorities in our civilization, shall we? The bigger the population, the more minorities. Don't step on the toes of dog lovers, cat lovers, doctors, lawyers, merchants, chiefs, Mormons, Baptists, Unitarians, second generation Chinese, Swedes, Italians, Germans, Texans, Brooklynites, Irishmen, people from Oregon or Mexico. The people in this play, this book, this TV serial are not meant to represent any actual painters, cardiographs, and mechanics anywhere. The bigger your market, Montag, the less you handle controversy. Remember that. There you have it, Montag. It didn't come from the government down. There was no dictum, no declaration, no censorship to start with. No. Technology, mass exploitation, and minority pressure carried the trick. Thank God. Today, thanks to them, you can stay happy all the time. And then Montag, or like the main character, he asks him, okay, but like, what about firefighters? Like, how did that come about? And then he says, colored people didn't like Little Black Sambo, we burned it. White people didn't feel good about Uncle Tom's Cabin, we burned it. Someone's written a book on tobacco and cancer of the lungs. The cigarette people are reaping, burn the book. Serenity, Montag. Peace, Montag. Take your fight outside, eh? I don't know where that Toronto man's in me came out from. So I skipped a lot of parts in between, by the way, so if you're interested, be sure, like, you guys should just read the book. It's a really good book. There's so much things that I can say about that passage. I'm pretty sure people write like essays and stuff on that topic, but for me, basically what I took from that, I don't know if that's what the author intended, but basically what I took from that is that if we're going to talk about like where we're going as a society and where we're going as humans and all that kind of stuff, like we should be more concerned about like the things that we consume, because that's going to affect us more, or that's going to harm us more than like whatever laws are in place or whoever's in power. Because just as the guy said in the book, like, there was no dictum, there was no declaration. It wasn't like the government didn't come down with an iron fist. Like, it was the people who did it to themselves. So that kind of made me like more conscious, I guess, about like the things that I'm consuming, especially on the internet. I feel like there's so much things on the internet that I watch, like especially like on YouTube and stuff, where it's so much people who are saying stuff and they're doing stuff, but they're not actually like saying anything or doing anything. Like, I don't know if you guys take that in, like, and I feel like that those stuff really does. Oh, I just spit. I don't know if you guys saw that. And whether or not we're aware of it, I feel like those things really will have an effect on us. And even if it's something as silly as watching somebody like go buy 700 Big Macs and eating it all, like, I feel like that will have an effect on us. That actually reminds me of this quote that I saw. Shout out to Jessica Nguyen, by the way. She tweeted this on Twitter. It's like a quote. We tend to think of nourishment only as what we take in through our mouths, but what we consume with our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongues, and our bodies is also food. The conversations going on around us and those we participate in are also food. Are we consuming and creating the kind of food that is healthy for us and help us grow? By Thich Nhat Hanh. Oh my god, I butchered that name. That's basically what I'm trying to say. That's why I just remembered her tweeting that, so I just had to like go grab my laptop. But yeah, so that I feel like I read so much in this book. I just keep reading stuff to you guys. Reading Rainbow. No, I'm kidding. Another thing that he said in that quote was, he said it was the reason why they got to the world that they lived in, it was because of technology, it was mass exploitation and minority pressure. And I feel like that is so spot on, because I feel like the reason why people make those types of content where it doesn't mean anything or say anything is because of minority pressure. Like I feel like a lot of people are afraid of like this backlash of if they said their real political beliefs, or if they said how they really feel about like certain issues, like I feel like they're afraid of that's gonna affect their brand. There's gonna be this backlash, and that leads them to making content that doesn't mean anything or say anything. And that's why I feel like it's so important that, like, even me as a minority, like it's important to let freedom of speech exist. Like even if they say stuff that I don't agree with, even if they're talking about like my religion, and even if they're even saying in a disrespectful way, like much rather have that I much rather see those, because the discussion that comes from those is much more productive than discussion that comes from like somebody like shaving their head, or I don't even know what people watch anymore, honestly. Like it's so important to let people have those beliefs. And I've noticed, and I feel like with myself, like because I do that too. Like I do cancel people, and I do like tell people like, oh no, they should not have a show anymore, or we shouldn't let them speak anymore, and all that kind of stuff. Like I've noticed that I do say those kind of things, and I'm realizing now how important it is to kind of like scale that back. Like not in the sense of like, obviously if people are racist or people are sparing hateful comments, like we should be very careful to not allow that to spread, and we should be careful to make sure to let people know like that's not okay. But at the same time, I need to be at least be better at distinguishing hateful speech and speech that I disagree with and may be seen as hateful but are productive still, like, you know. Anyways, I can go about this topic forever. Like there's just a million and one things that I can say about this, but I just kind of want to keep this short. So if you guys have anything that you guys have to say about this issue, I feel like it's so interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Like, do you guys cancel people? How often do you guys cancel celebrities? And what's your guys' stance on kind of like when it comes to people who are on the internet or who have their own show and they say something that you may disagree with or may be taken as hateful? Like, where do you guys stand with that, you know? Because I don't think that is right to, at the same time, to like let hate speech kind of become the norm. Like that's not a good thing. And I feel like it is a good thing that we call people out who are racist. Like, you know, I feel like that's a really good thing. And but at the same time, I don't know, like it just gets sticky. Like I don't know, I don't know where to draw the line, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But I definitely know that I'm kind of, I want to scale it back a bit more, like, you know. But yeah, that's kind of all that I have to say. So if you guys have anything to say, let me know.